Um, Good evening, everyone. Is there anything in here?
If you're going, I'm going. If you're going.
No, as for me, I'm just getting nothing right now.
Good evening, everyone. We are just waiting for more people to join. We are sorry there were changes in terms of the link. So allow more people to join. We may start at 1950. We are so sorry for this. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, we're getting you.
Good evening.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Gift Mbewe. Your moderator for tonight. Hello, are you able to get me?
Yes, we can get you.
All right, thank you.
Yes, Ruth Mbewe.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, we are asking for all those with mics unmuted to kindly mute them.
Okay, thank you so much. So starting tonight's meeting, my name is Gift Mbewe. Any volunteer to pray for us? Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, please kindly pray for us.
Are you able to get me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we are praying. Our gracious Father in heaven, we come before you this evening as we are about to learn on how we have to live as single people. We're also praying for our instructor who is going to teach us, Mr. Daniel Kawani, impart him with the knowledge that he's going to share with us so that we may be able to stand in society to be a better people. May you bless each and every one of us who have found time to be on this platform to learn things that are going to change us as people and also things that are going to change. This is our humble prayer in the mighty name of our Lord.
Mute your mic.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Are you able to get me?
Yes, please, we are able.
Yes, we can.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so my name is Gift Mbewe, and in today's meeting, we've been joined by the CEO of DNK Group of Companies, commonly known as Daniel Kawani, a happily married man who has been through the search for a wife and succeeded. He's going to help us discuss the topic on a well-established man in this.
Sorry to interrupt you, Gift. Sorry to interrupt you, Gift. There are a lot of mics that are on that are breaking into your information. Let's just advise everyone to switch off their mics so that we can have one person speak and we are able to start our meetings. There are a number of people whose mics are on. Let's just advise everyone, let's kindly mute our mics and allow the moderator to coordinate and the rest of us can speak.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. Yeah, so Daniel Kawani is going to help us discuss a topic on how a well-established or successful single man can find true love amidst wolves. Mr. Daniel Kalani, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the invitation to join your platform and discuss with your group this evening. Are you able to get me?
Sure, we're able to get you. Maybe the host, I've seen the host is there. Maybe the host should help us mute the rest of the mics that are not on mute. Maybe the host can help us so that we are able to get one voice from Mr. Kabani. The host, please help us to mute the other mics.
Okay, thank you.
Brother Mayaba,
so much.
Brother Mayaba is still on. Please help us, Brother Mayaba. I don't know if the brother or sister, please mute your mic so that we can allow Elder Kabani to speak to us.
So thank you so much, Tim, for the invitation to be with you. I am excited to be with you this evening. Yes, I hope you can hear me and I hope you can see me clearly. It has been a busy day for me. It has been a very busy week for me. I have had very few hours of sleep on some of the days. The past 2 days, I think I was sleeping for a maximum of 4 hours or so. So it's been a busy week. Today, we were running a training for one of the American NGOs, and I've been speaking from 8 hours to 17. So you can imagine it has been very hectic. But I'm excited to be in this meeting with all of you that are actually present in the meeting. I hope you are all doing fine. I would have loved to hear from everybody of you, but I know our platforms have limitations on if we did that, probably it would take the whole 1 hour for everybody to say how they're doing. But I wish you well, and we thank God that we are coming to the end of the week. When I was contacted by Gift from your team, she was very categorical about what she wanted me to share with your team. I was told that I should come and share with you about how a single young man who is accomplished, who is established, can be able to find true love. Later on, I laughed when I saw the poster come through because it had a little connotation at the end that said amidst wolves. So I started wondering who the wolves were. Okay, but I guess it's just to score the point. How can a young man who is accomplished get to find true love? Probably I'll begin by introducing myself for 1 or 2 people that might not know me. It might be important not to assume that we all know each other. So, like introduced, my names are Daniel Ngombo Kabani. Some people know me as DNK. And of course, I think the moderator highlighted about DNK Group. We run 3 businesses of 3 companies. That's DNK General Consultancy, DNK Branded Publishers, and DNK Pharmacies. That is what we do. I'm an entrepreneur. That's what I do on a daily basis. Professional-wise, I am a pharmacist, and I'm also an anatomist. I'm a medical educationist. So from the professional point of view, that is what I do. I take time to interact with young people quite a lot and to try and contribute to the lives, especially of young people. I should mention that I'm also a young person. By the definition of young people in Zambia, you must be below 35, and I'm below 35. So I'm a young person in that context. I've written 2 books, Be Exceptional and Be Irresistible. These are 2 books which I think are my life contribution to young people, speaking on a number of things. what you want me to discuss with you, which is about relationships. Today, I think I've actually written quite a lot about that in my second book, which is Be Irresistible. It has a component that addresses social issues and issues to do with relationships. Okay, so I think that should be able to cover on the introduction. On the social aspect, I'm a married man, a husband of one wife, and some of you might know my wife. I've always called her Queen Bee until recently that I got to know that there's another Queen Bee who has surfaced on the social platforms, and with that I have cancelled the Queen Bee part, and now she's just a queen. Okay, so I'm married to my beautiful wife, Bethel Chimukalwindi, who is an entrepreneur and a clinician. Okay, so that is about my wife. We have been married now for 2 years. So we have not been married for too long, but we have a little bit of experience. We were married for 2 years and dated for 2 years plus, I think 3 years or so before we got married. So we have been together, that means now for about 5 years or so. Okay, so that is about my social life. Now, the theme or what you wanted me to come and discuss with you today speaks about a young man who is looking for love. How can this young man find love? Now, I should mention that we are wired by God. We are a product of God. God himself is love, and we are a product of God. So our very existence is weaved in love. Our very existence is weaved in love. And I'm assuming that I'm speaking with you and you are all of a Christian background. And if you are of a Christian background, then it is important to, let's just have the mic muted for the person who has just joined. Let's have the mic muted. The host, kindly help mute the mic that has just, okay. Kindly help mute the mic. Thank you. Okay. I think we have an active mic that is generating feedback. To mute your mic, check the left corner of your screen. There is a sign of a mic. If it is not crossed, it means it is not muted and it is just muted. The other option is our host. I do a lot of these meetings. If somebody can't mute their mic, kindly remove them from the group, because otherwise this will not be beneficial to everybody. So if they're not muting their mic, simply remove them. We have short time to do this, and we must play by the rules. Thank you. Okay, so I was highlighting to say God himself is love. That means you cannot speak about love outside the context of God. Then there's another thing I want to mention. Much of what you are going to be able to do in this life, you'll be able to do it and achieve it if your efforts will be supported by love. Some of the greatest achievers in this life are people that are well loved. And I want you people to know that also one of the things that has the greatest potential to destroy you and destroy your life is issues to do with love. When mismanaged, okay? When mismanaged, when properly not understood, when given wrongly, love has the potential to destroy you and to destroy your life. So issues of love have potential to grow you and make you achieve things, and issues of love have great potential of destroying your life completely. I should tell you that it is possible for you to find yourself in a psychiatric hospital. Now I'm speaking from the point of medicine as a medical practitioner. Issues of love has potential to land you in a psychiatric hospital if not handled well. Issues of love has potential to land you in the grave, either because you were sick or in the grave because you had some mental condition, or in the grave because you ended up committing suicide if not handled very well. But I should also mention that issues of love have potential of healing you, have potential of making you achieve so much, have potential of prolonging your life. Studies have proven that people that are happy because they are loved well, they live longer than those who are not. So love has the potential of extending your life and making your life so happy here on earth. What that means is approach love issues very cautiously, very deliberately, and very intelligently. Love needs to be approached cautiously, deliberately, and intelligently. Maybe that is why one writer talks about it and says, make haste slowly. The writer maybe understands that there is always a temptation to rush issues of love, but says, even as you are trying to rush them, make haste slowly. So slow down, sober up, approach love cautiously, deliberately, and intelligently. Above all, approach love issues prayerfully, because you want the intervention of God in the choice that you're going to make. So I'm going to share with you now probably my story of how this whole love thing rolled out to get to the point where we are with my wife. So I met my wife on Facebook. I met my wife on Facebook. So you want to be very careful with the social spaces, because some people meet husbands and wives there. So be very careful with what you put up on Facebook. I've heard young people make the mistake of saying, if you Facebook chabe, right? And if you Facebook chabe, it's not just Facebook. Now employers and recruiters go and vet you and do a due diligence on you on Facebook. There is no person we employ as DNK that we have not checked on Facebook to see what, we don't want to embarrass ourselves. We have taken years to grow our brand, and you're not going to go and mess it up by being careless on social media. So we vet. And I know that every other serious employer now vets people on Facebook, because Facebook is a part of who you are. WhatsApp is a part of who you are. Instagram is a part of who you are. And no matter how fake you want to present yourself out there, there's a bit of truth. So be very careful with what you put out on social media, because people will judge you by it. Whether you want to consider it as fake, it will be hard to explain yourself out to somebody. Now, I'll tell you that majority of what is posted on social media is a disappointment. When I met my wife, I came out of a breakup, okay? I came out of a breakup. Then after that breakup, I just decided to live life. I actually was not interested in dating at that point. But let me take it back to before I met her. Years back, before I met my wife physically, about 3 years before that, while I was scrolling on Facebook, I came across an article that was so much sensible about how to raise children. And when I looked at it, I was like, who is this person who has written an article that is so much sensible? These days, it's hard to come across sense on Facebook. There's a lot of junk that is posted out there. So really, it is hard to come across sense. There's junk posted and junk shared. So I came across this post. Here is a lady who was writing about how children should be raised, how their mindset should be changed, the values they should be taught. And this article was power-packed. When I looked through it, I realized it was written by a lady, a young lady. And it was so shocking. It was so shocking because not very many young ladies write on Facebook. Majority of them post pictures, and nothing wrong with pictures, But if you find a young lady then that has written something, it's a little bit catching. And most of those who write, they are either sharing some post of somebody or anything like that. But this was an original post written by a young lady addressing issues of how to raise children, which majority of I agreed with. She spoke about how we should not spoil our kids with what we call love, furnishing them with all these gifts and all that, how they should be shown love, but mixed with discipline and all that. And when I read all that stuff, it reminded me about what I had read in books, such as Messages to Young People, such as Adventist Home, such as To Have and to Hold, and many other books that I had read around marriage and relationships. I should tell you that I started reading about relationships. The first book I read about relationship was To Have and to Hold, a book written by Nancy Van Pelt, which I read in grade 6. So I started reading about marriage and relationships in grade 6. So I had read so much, and here was a young lady writing stuff that responded to what I had read. So I decided to go and check her, what you call stalking. So I went to stalk her. And when I stalked her, I found that she was a very beautiful young lady, such that also her looks captivated me. So I was moved by what I saw. The first thing is I was moved by what I read. But when I decided to stalk, I went and I was moved by what I saw. So I just came back to comment on our wall and I said, wow, this is so powerful and this is moving, just to thank her for the post that she had put. And that was it. After that, I went back to my normal life and my normal business and didn't have anything to do in that line. We didn't communicate. But after that post, I think a year later, I got an inbox coming from that very lady who had posted that power stuff. And her inbox was asking me that they are trying to create a campus ministries at their university. Okay, they're trying to create a campus ministries at their university. And I should help them because somebody recommended and mentioned that I was the president of campus ministries within Lusaka Conference. That time, Lusaka Conference had all these new conferences within it, and I was the campus ministries president. So I started conversing with her, and somebody says they can't get what I am saying. Can somebody just confirm that you can hear so that I know that I'm not speaking to myself? Anybody can confirm? Are you able to hear me?
Sam, we can get you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes,
Can hear you.
yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for the feedback. So when she contacted me now, I realized, wow, this is that powerful young lady who posted the powerful post. And she has inboxed me. I was excited. I was excited actually when I saw that message because I think I was not dating then. So I was excited. And I started communicating with her. I was excited for two things. For the gospel that we are going to open a campus ministry there, but also that I would get a chance to interact with her. So we started talking. And then the funny thing is this. When we started talking, then at the point that she got my line and I got a line and called to talk so that we can meet to go and talk about campus ministries, then she did something. She decided to refer me to their campus ministries chairperson. Apparently, she was the secretary. Then she says, oh, so going forward, you will not be talking with me. You'll be talking with the campus ministries chairperson. And trust me, I was not interested in talking with the campus ministries chairperson because it was some brother. I was not interested at that point. I said, wow, I mean, I thought I had a chance now to be talking with this young lady, and she's firing me to the campus ministries chairperson. So that was the end of it. my talking with her was terminated by that referral to start talking with the campus ministries chairperson. After that, I actually started dating, got in a relationship, and so we stopped completely talking. And some years passed, okay? Then my relationship failed, and now I was a monk, and I was not dating. Then one of the days, again, I saw her on Facebook. So I decided to say hi. And then our communication started again. I remembered that we had exchanged numbers at some point. So I called her, we started chatting, and we started chatting. When I started, I realized that she was not just loaded because of what had come through that post. She was loaded as I continued to talk with her on phone. She actually was. And we found ourselves talking, which some of you that love spirit of prophecy might use it and misuse it and quote it here, that to say Sister White talks about keeping late hours. So we started talking, and we would find ourselves talking almost the whole night, like literally talking on phone from 22 hours to about 05. And we are just talking and talking and talking and talking. And I'll hear somebody who say, you see, now you're misusing time and you're not productive. Sorry, I think I was under a spell, okay? But then we started talking for those long hours. And then we arranged to meet our first time. We went and met the first time. And the very first time that we met, I knew that she was going to be my wife. Now, I didn't propose to her that day. I didn't know her much. But when we met the very first day, I told her that I am going to marry you. So on the very first day of us meeting, even before me proposing to her, I was sure, because my meeting with her was more like now to confirm. I had heard, yeah. So the meeting with her was just like to confirm what I had seen on Facebook, because I didn't want to go and end up committing to somebody on social media. Then I meet them and I'm shocked about what I see. What I had heard and read had convinced me already. What just remained was to confirm that the looks also are okay. So when I met and saw her, I was sure. So I told her, I'm going to marry you. Yeah, I told her I'm going to marry you. And things started from there that, well, she just laughed when I told her that. She just laughed when I told her that. Somebody is shocked to say from 22 to 05. Yes, we used to talk 22 to 05. So that is how we started, talking as friends. She just laughed. I think she took it as a joke when I said that. So we became friends. Now, I should say something, that the time that I was dating my wife, actually before I started dating her, I had a problem. The problem I had was one, and it was a problem of young ladies getting excited when they would meet me or when they would get to know about me. And that really disturbed me, okay? That disturbed me. I don't know. I think one, maybe because I was this popular young man in the church, everybody knew me. Everybody knew, oh, this is the young man who preaches. Everybody knew me. This is the young man who is the president of all campus ministries. This young man is a graduate of medical school. At a young age, he has a good job. He works for UTH. At a young age, he is driving and things like that. So it seems, and it's like a lot of young ladies knew me. So when I would go to a campus ministries or to a church, they would introduce me, our leaders come and what, and I could see that a lot of the young ladies, what was exciting them maybe was either my popularity or my influence or maybe my status at that age. And that disturbed me. I did not want to date or marry a young lady who would simply be excited because of my job or because of my popularity, because none of these are permanent. It is possible to be employed today and unemployed tomorrow. It is possible to have a good job today and have no good job. And I've seen men being left because of losing a job. Popularity is seasonal. The people that are popular today will not be popular tomorrow. I know people that used to be popular 5 years ago, they are no longer popular today. Same thing with influence. So I did not want to date any young lady who got excited by either what I had or anything within that space. Now, one of the things I used to have a problem with is a young lady whom I say hi, and immediately I say hi, she sends me a chain of 9 messages or so, from which I can clearly tell that this young lady is excited that she's talking. Hi, so when are you going to come and see me? When are you going to visit and what? That would, I don't know what it would do, but it would switch off the lights in my heart. I remember one young lady I was interested in, went to visit her at Unza. When I went to visit her, she got so excited and went and invited all her friends, come and see us, visit, anything like that. And that was the end of it for me. Because I knew those are wrong reasons. If things fell, if tomorrow Daniel is not popular, if tomorrow Daniel has got no job, that will be the end of it. One thing that caught my attention about my wife currently is that she was not excited. If she was, then she hid it. But she was not excited about who I was. And I tried as much as I could to hide the picture of who I was, what I did, and what I earned from her. Okay? For example, I never visited her driving. So every time I went to visit her, I went walking. Okay? Every time I went to visit her, I went walking. That is what I did. I would go walking, visit her, chat. She escorts me. I go and get on a bus, and off I go home. I also never allowed her to visit me. I didn't want her to visit me and see where I stay and what is there and anything in that line. So I always created excuses for her to not come and visit me, because I had seen some excitement with certain young ladies who visited me. When they would visit, suddenly there's all this excitement and everything like that. I'm smiling because I once was visited by a young lady who we got shocked with my friend because she didn't want to go home. So at some point now, we're like, okay, so what time are we going, or something like that. So I did not want anything like that. So I remember we used to meet, we met at Wimpy's and things like that, but never allowed her really to come to my place. So I could see that I think she was also not very active on Facebook. She would post once in a while, but then she was not really excited about this whole thing about me. And that is exactly what caught my attention. But away from that, I started studying certain things about her. I started studying certain things about her. And there were certain things I was looking for in a young lady. Personally, we all have preferences. But my guiding principle about who to marry for a lady has always been Proverbs Chapter 31. Okay? I have memorized chunks of Proverbs 31. And for me, it has always been a guiding principle. So I may share with you so that you understand what it is I was looking for. And I hope, young ladies, you can pay attention to this. By the way, I should mention to young ladies that There is no successful young person or accomplished young person in his right state of thinking who would love to date and marry a young lady that he knows is moved purely by material things. And immediately you show that excitement, that his car excites you, his house excites you, his money excites you. If a young man is right thinking, he is going to disappear. He's going to disappear. Any normal thinking young person knows that a young lady who marries you purely for material things, it will end in tears for the two of you. Because there is always somebody who is much richer than you, somebody who is more educated than you, somebody who has a better house than you, somebody who has a better car than you. So it ends in tears if somebody marries you purely for that. Now, my question is, should we marry people for their poverty? Of course not. I'm not encouraging young ladies here that you go and fall in love with a guy because he's poor. Poverty is bad. It removes dignity. It is not a good thing. And I don't wish it on anybody. And not even God wishes poverty over you. But what I am saying is that beyond the comfortabilities of life and what we want in life, the car, the house, and everything, I think it is important to set the choice first on principal things. Because when these things are taken care of, material possession is a side effect that comes along with it. For example, if you marry a young man purely for what he has, and yet you do not even understand how what he has come about, you are in danger. There are young people who are doing fine because they are funded by their fathers. And every day, their fathers give them money. I know this very well because I am a consultant to one of the most prestigious rehab centers in Zambia. I'm a consultant to one of the most prestigious rehab centers in Zambia. And I'm going to tell you something, that some of the kids I deal with, their parents are quite rich, that they have put them on a monthly stipend. And that monthly stipend can be an equivalent of a salary of a medical doctor. And this is a kid who is just in grade 12. And the father deposits a 16,000 kwacha into his account on a monthly basis. Now, if you're going to meet that kid, you're going to find that he's driving. At some point, he might even be staying somewhere, a good poshy house and everything. But what he has is being given to him by his father. If that is what moves you, the time that the father dies, this young man does not have the competences to maintain and keep wealth. And he descends to poverty levels. And in the end, you begin to say, this is not what I signed up for. And that is how a marriage ends. So sticking to the principles is critical, which is what I would also say to the young men, for example, right? Young men look at beauty. I think that is the first thing that moves young men. It is beauty. Every man wants to wants to marry. Sorry, you see, being an entrepreneur, you're saying buy. Every young man wants to marry a young lady that they think is beautiful, right? That is the first thing that moves men. It is what they see. Don't be lied to. It is what they see. But I'm going to caution the young men that if you are going to simply follow beauty, it will always end in tears. Because ultimately, a marriage is not held and is not sustained by beauty. Ultimately, a marriage is not sustained by beauty. So beauty is a good thing. Looking for somebody whom you think is beautiful is a great thing. But beyond that, the principal things, which are principles, should be done. And I do not know anything that gives what you should look for in a young lady than the Bible. For me, that is what has been guiding, which is Proverbs 31. It says, a wife of noble character, that is verse 10, who can find? She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good, not harm. So I was looking for a young lady who brings good, not harm. And by the way, I had been in a relationship before where I almost even suffered violence at the hands of a young lady, right? And you know, let me just give you an example of what I mean, which made me to end one of my relationships. Here is a young lady I am dating. We go for a date, and you see at that point I am driving, she is driving. My car is big, her car is small. I tell her, let's go for dinner. Then she says, no, your car is big, it's wasting money. Let's use my car, which is small and less on fuel. We get on our car, we go for dinner, and we go to Protea Hotel, Cloud9 up there. Nice, beautiful, prestigious restaurant. I buy the meal, good meal, we are eating. While eating that meal, we have a difference and we differ. When we have that difference, now that is late because we went there a bit late, around 20 hours. So by the time we are done with our meal, it's past 21, around 21:30 or so. Then this young lady says, now that we have differed like this, you find your way home. You are not getting in my car. 21 hours going to 22 hours. Somebody says, find your way home. You are not getting into my car. I told her, my friend, you are joking. How do I walk from here, Protea, at Arcades, and go to Lilai Estates where I was staying? You are joking. We are going in your car. You are taking me back to your place where I parked my car. I go home. No, you are not getting in my car. That is how we went down to reach our car. And now we were running for the car. She's running this side, I'm running this side. Imagine the drama. We are running for the doors because I know if she gets in first, she'll lock the car. Now, that is clearly that this is somebody with a mind that can harm you. And some of you get shocked how people get stabbed in these marriages. It is clear right from the start that somebody is violent. It can be clear right from the start that somebody, is harsh. It is clear right from the start that somebody does not mean well. The challenge is most young people see these red lights and pretend that they don't see them. You ignore them and hope they will disappear until in the end you are in deep soup. So these are some of the things, for example, that raised questions on some of the people I dated before. And by the way, I would advise you to date. And if you have to break up, learn your lessons. Don't force a relationship into marriage. The number one leading cause of divorce is a fear of breaking up. People fear to break relationships, but end up breaking marriages. Don't fear to break up. If the relationship in which you are seems to have no direction, it seems violent, and all those things, you break up. Because you will fear to break a relationship and end up breaking a marriage. And by the way, the leading culprits in divorce are church people. And why church people divorce more than people who are not in the church? It is because the young people who are in the church, no matter how wrong a relationship is, they will not break up for fear of what the elders will say, what the friends will say, what the church will say, especially the young people that are in leadership. Majority of them realize this young lady is wrong, but they feel, how can I dump her as the forum chairperson? How can I break up with her as whoever else? And they continue, force that relationship in a marriage. Then in a marriage, they realize they are incompatible for each other and they end up divorcing. So don't fear to break up. That is what I'm going to share with you. So Proverbs says, she brings him good and not harm. If you realize that the young lady you are dating is bringing you emotional harm, is bringing you spiritual harm, is bringing you financial harm, disappear faster than load shedding, faster than electricity. because you'll be harmed further in that relationship. Then Proverbs goes on. So that was one principle for me. I was looking for a young lady that was kind. I was looking for a young lady that was kind. I come from a family that is very big and extended, where visitors will be there every day. And I'll tell you, this is true. Even right now with my wife, we have a visitor almost every time. We have a visitor almost every time. I was looking for somebody who is accommodative. The good thing is I discovered that my wife was also coming from a very big family where they have visitors every day. They have visitors every day. So I knew that this one, even if I marry her with my family that is big and they'll be visiting, she will not have a problem. And even up to now, my wife goes around looking for visitors. She literally goes around looking for, when are you coming? When are you coming? When are you coming? And for me, I'm happy. She relates well with every member of my family. She has her own relationships with them away from me. She'll sit, chat with them. You should see how she chats with my mother. My mother even calls her more than she calls me. Right? So that is what I was looking for. And when I talk about harm, I was also looking for a young lady that is respectful. And I'm going to tell you something. Now, for young men, listen very carefully. Young men, don't fake it. There is no man who can survive in a relationship that is disrespectful. There is no man who can stay in a relationship that is disrespectful. He might fake it for a little while, but soon he will leave. And if it's a marriage, he will divorce. Because man's ego is huge and it thrives on respect. Let me give you an example of one young lady whom I dated and what made me to leave. And some of you will think some of these things are petty on which I would leave. But ultimately, those that have ignored them have ended up in tears. I dated this young lady who, one of the days we are driving, I don't know where we were going, and she picks a call, which I clearly see that she's talking to the father. And she talks. While she's talking, I hear her beginning to raise her voice on her father. She's raising her voice, and in the end, she cuts the line. And then she turns to me and says, this man is a problem. He's ever asking for money. This man is a problem. He's ever asking for money. I remember that very well. So I asked her, I said, which man are you talking about? Who is the man? Who are you talking to? She says, it's my father. I said, your father is the one you are addressing as this man. Your father is the man you have cut the line on. You have cut the line, and the person you are talking to is your father. And is the one you are saying, this man is a problem. He's always asking for money. I didn't say anything, but I knew that there was no future with me and that young lady. A young lady who cannot respect the father cannot respect you. A young lady who does not respect her elder brothers cannot respect you. A young lady who can't respect the elders at church and the pastors at church and any other person. Pay attention to how your prospective wife speaks to other people, because how she speaks to you is pretense. How she speaks to other people is real. A young lady who is disrespectful to her siblings, to her parents, and to the general public, that young lady will not respect you. I'll tell you something, and maybe let me give you an example to make this very practical. When we were at Ridgeway, okay, we are at Ridgeway, one of our brothers at Forum, a leader at Forum, decided to start dating this young lady, who within a short time, now he was our senior, a friend of mine and I realized how disrespectful this young lady was because of how she used to talk to him. One of the days we visited his room with other guys. Now, these are senior guys, like the guy is in 6th year. We are in our third, fourth year. This young lady is a second year. He's in 6th year, he's dating a second year. And there are other guys who were his classmates that had come who are also like in 6th year, 7th year. Now, a 7th year guy is an elderly guy. If you look at the difference between a 7th year and a second year. And second years at Ridge were respect. 5th years, 6th year, 7th year, you call them Bawat, dog, Bawat. You respect because these are guys who are literally older than you. Now, we are in his room with other senior students. This young lady was there also watching her movie on the laptop. And everybody was chatting. There was some argument about politics, and everybody was speaking on top of their voice. Suddenly, this young lady pulls her headsets out and she shouts, "You are making noise for me. After all, what you are discussing is nonsense." Those are words. You are making noise for me. After all, what you are discussing is nonsense. We all kept quiet. Everybody was shocked and we kept quiet, waiting for the boyfriend to say something. And he said nothing. And one by one, people started saying good night and good night and good night and good night and good night, and they left the room. A day or so later, my friend and I said, no, let's go and talk to that man. He's our leader at Forum and he's our senior and we love him. Let's go. We went and talked to him. We said, we used to call him elders. We said, elders, why are you dating this young lady? This young lady is disrespectful. This will end in tears. What do you like about this young lady? He told us one thing. He said, I love this young lady for her IQ. Her IQ. She's very intelligent. She's sharp. She's a genius. That is why I love this young lady. We said, sir, genius is not important in this thing. Well, he went ahead and married that young lady. Sadly enough, I'll tell you, less than 2 years down the line, they divorced. And as we speak today, they divorced. And I'll tell you that one thing why they divorced and how it ended in tears is this young lady would post on Facebook insulting him, insulting his family, and anyone who came to comment under that say, you first talk to like this, don't put this on Facebook, the person will be insulted as well. It ended in tears. Now there are some of you who go out there and say, well, I love my girlfriend because she's frank. I hope she's frank, but not disrespectful. Otherwise, it will end in tears. So for me, I found my wife to be very respectful because that is what a man ultimately wants. Let me wind it up so that I open for you to ask questions and contributions. This is not supposed to be a sermon, it's a discussion. And then Proverbs says, she selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She's like a mentioned sheep, brings her food from far afar. That means this is a woman who can work. This is a woman who can contribute to the economy of the home. And I'll tell you that when I started DNK General Consultancy in 2017, this company had one employee, and that was me. I didn't invite my girlfriend to start working and helping. But I will tell you that at that point, I could not employ many people. So I was the only employee. Our office, I'm speaking from our office right now. This office was very dirty, inside and outside, when we got this property. Such that the first person whom I tried to employ to be cleaning, a church member who had no job, and kept calling me, asking me to find them a job, finding them a job. When I started this business, I decided to go and call them so that they can come and work. They came and looked at how dirty the place was in and outside, and they told me to say, my leader, if you can first find somebody to clean up this place, then I can take it up from there as a job. And that's how I fired that person before I could hire them. While I decided to go to Chilenge Market to look for people to clean this place, when I came back, I found that my girlfriend then had swept the place outside and inside with my young brother. But I could see traces of hard work, how she could engage herself to work and everything. Now, I'm not speaking these things to praise my wife. I'll tell you that I was very conscious of who I was marrying. I was not under a spell. I had already gone through a failed relationship at a very advanced stage. So there was no spell. I was very cautious. But she was hardworking. One of the things I've seen that has destroyed many marriages for young men, it's marrying beautiful, lazy women. Marrying beautiful, lazy women. Marrying educated, lazy women. As a man, be careful with the times that the would-be woman you want to marry wakes up and the times she sleeps. Stay away from young ladies that wake up at 7 hours and sleep at 21. Stay away from young ladies that wake up at 6 hours and sleep at 20 hours. In your marriage, when you get married, you will need to go for work. You will need your clothes and everything to be set in place. My brother, you will be appearing at work with wrinkled clothes. Wrinkled clothes with a brown collar. That is how you will be appearing at work. If you are running around only convinced by beauty in that relationship. And also, if you're going to follow the young ladies that are misguided now, because I know somebody here is going to begin saying, well, in the home, now it is gender equality, a man should iron. Well, the best I can say is that that's nonsense. Yeah, it is. Men and women are created different. We are very different. Don't be misguided by people who do not know what they're saying. A man and a woman are different at all levels. Let me tell you that biologically, the brain of a man and a woman are different. Anatomically, they're different. How they function is different. That tells you that if the brain that houses the mind is different, therefore even the mind of a woman and the mind of a man are different. Men and women will never be the same until you will be able to change their anatomy. So don't listen to people who have no clue what they're talking about. Even everything about biology, the blood count, the red blood cell count of a man and a woman are different. The hemoglobin levels of a man and a woman are different. The hormones that run both are different. The bone density of a man and a woman are different. The size of their organs are different. So men and women are different. Now, two things that are different by structure cannot be the same by functionality. Sometimes I wonder, the people are here saying, oh, men and women are the same. They should both do the same thing. I'm like, from which point are you speaking from? Things that are different in structure cannot be same in functionality, because structure determines functionality. Structure determines functionality. So you're going to get in that home, and there are roles of a wife or a woman. There are roles of a husband in that house. And if you're going to run around as a young man simply carried away by beauty, you are done. If you're going to run around as a young man carried by beauty, you are done. And I should caution you, the young men, because your study for today says a young man who is accomplished, a young man who is doing fine. You should know that the more you are doing fine, the higher the chances of you marrying a wrong person. The more you are educated as a young man, the higher the chances of you marrying a wrong person. The more financially sound as a young man you are, the higher the chances of you marrying a wrong person. The more popular you are, the higher the chances of marrying a wrong person. Why? When you are popular, when you have money, when you have a good job, when you have all these things, it begins to attract people to you who come to you with wrong motives, who come purely by material things. I won't read the whole of Proverbs, but marry a young lady who is hardworking. Look for a young lady who is committed. You should see it in how she does her tasks, in the time she wakes up, in the time she sleeps, in the commitment to her assignments in school, in how she takes her school. You can see that. If you have the privilege of visiting them at their home, visit and see what she does. It will tell you, because a marriage ultimately is a small economy. It is a small economy, and it runs by the contribution every person brings to them. That's why in 17, the Bible says she sets about her work vigorously. She sets about her work vigorously. My wife, if you met my wife, those of you who have met her, you know, if you meet my wife and you look at her, you say, this lady should come from a well-to-do family, and I don't think this lady can work. Just by looking at my wife, that's what you'd think. You'd think she's the type that comes from a family where she can't work by just how she looks. But I'll tell you that when my wife gets to work, she means business. She can work with her hands. She can work. Beyond that, I was looking for a wife that is intelligent. Why? For me, even the jokes I crack, I think they are intelligent jokes. And I once met this young lady who I would crack a joke, she would not laugh. After I leave her and I go home, then she calls me and says, you, that's what you said. That was very funny. And I'll say, this is when the joke is loading. Now, nothing against anybody, but I realized that that would be a problem. I realized that that would be a problem. Okay? I would ask for her contribution on something. The suggestion that would come is something else. But so I was looking also for somebody who is intellectually compatible with me, and that I found in her. The other thing I was looking for her was somebody spiritually compatible with me. You know my schedule, most of you. I preach every weekend, and I love God's work. So I go around preaching. One young lady whom I tried to date, I did not date, but tried to date. Why I decided to disappear is because she told me that you and your church, you move too much. This thing of your church. There and then I could tell that the day I marry this one will be the end of this ministry. And I disappeared faster than electricity, because to me also ministry means something. So also look at yourself. What is it that matters in your life? If church matters to you, look for somebody who loves church. If prayer matters to you, look for somebody. If church does not matter to you, also look for somebody who church does not matter. And this I should mention. Don't be a young man who is not committed to church, looking for young ladies that are committed to church, because you are going to be a persecution to that young lady. So if you are a young man who is not committed to God, go and look for your fellow uncommitted, so that the two of you can agree and be happy in your lack of commitment. So don't be a young man not committed to God, looking for a young lady committed to God. For me, I was committed to church. I wanted a young lady also committed to church. Because some of the fights people are having in their marriages is the other guy is going to church, the other guy doesn't want to go. Somebody says at this rate, somebody will be looking for the presenter's wife. Trust me, she's a virtuous lady. Those of you that have met her know this. But the good thing is this. I want those of you young men that are in this platform today to know that there are many virtuous young ladies that are present today right here in this platform. They are there. And if you search for them, you will find them. And I want the young ladies that are here to know that there are also virtuous young men that are in this platform. And if you search for them, you will find them. Okay. Let me open it for discussion and questions here. I think I'll be adding more to what I have said as you are asking your questions and contributions. Okay. I think we have 15 minutes. So let me take questions and contributions. I didn't want to talk about relationships from a theoretical point. If you want books, I've read many books on this, and I can do that, but I wanted it to be practical. Yes, good evening. Who is speaking?
Yes,
Just share your name.
This is Patson Manakanje, Johnny.
Please, Mr. Patson. Awesome. Yes, please.
Yeah, I remember from Brentwood.
That's That's great.
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't start the topic, but I just want to ask a question on dating. Is there a specific like age where you can start dating? Yeah, that's the first question. And the second one is, I remember when you came to Brentwood, when you came with, by that time, your wife, she was your girlfriend. Yeah, you
Yes.
talked about something to say, up to this time, I've never like kissed my girlfriend. So what parameters did you put for like defense, like for you to succeed? Yeah, I think
Okay.
just those.
That's good. You have a good memory, eh? Yes, I remember coming with my wife to Brentwood and she was my girlfriend then. Okay. Now, the age for dating. Well, this varies across cultures. This varies across cultures. There are cultures that begin dating early and others not. That is the first thing. Okay. Then number two, there are coming to the cultures. There are cultures that have dating and cultures that don't have dating. Now, we, the Zambian youths where we are, now we don't know what our culture is. And I'm not saying go to your culture. No, culture is progressive. Things change. But we are in the mix of things. Part of our culture is American, part is European, part is Zambian. In our typical Zambian culture, there is no dating. That does not mean dating is bad. We can adopt good processes from other cultures. So in the typical Zambian culture, there is no dating. So I'm going to share from you, from maybe observation and what I have equally read from other people and scholars that speak on issues of relationships. Well, immediately one gets into their teens, the person should be able to date. Immediately somebody gets in their teens. So 13, 14, 15, 16, whatever going up, you should be able to date. And I thank my parents for having created that room for us to be able to date. By the way, my parents allowed us to date and even to introduce our girlfriends to them. They allowed that. Even my wife met my parents before we even engaged. They allowed that. Why? They wanted to know whom we are dating so that they also give their opinion in terms of advice. Now, here is the thing. The idea of dating is for one reason. It is not for fun. Dating is for one reason, and it is to establish compatibility. So that if you answer the question of compatibility, if you are non-compatible, you break up. You break up. A relationship that ends in a breakup is a successful relationship. If people establish they are not compatible and they break up, that is a successful relationship. Because if they continue, they will divorce. If people date and realize they are compatible, that is a success, because that relationship will then graduate into a successful marriage. So dating is for the sole reason of, number one, establishing compatibility. Don't date for no reason. You date for a reason, and the reason is to know the other person, to establish compatibility. Compatibility at what level? Number one, spiritual compatibility. Are you spiritually compatible? Because spirituality breaks marriages and makes people miserable. Number two, are you intellectually compatible? Are you intellectually compatible? Establish that. Number three, are you socially compatible? That means your socialization, your level of exposure, where you come from, the kind of families you have. Answer to that question. Are you socially compatible? If you are not, you will divorce because of visitors in the home. You will divorce because of relatives asking for money. So answer the issue of spiritual compatibility, intellectual compatibility, and social compatibility. And you answer that during the process of dating. That is why I tell people, in the process of dating, ask relevant questions. Let me give you an example of one irrelevant question. So, what color do you like? Me, it's blue. What of you, pink? That's nice. Then you go and tell people that we are compatible. Why? Because I know the color that my boyfriend likes. I know the color my girlfriend likes. Well, in a marriage, I don't know how much a color affects a marriage. I don't know to what level. But if it does, it is to a very minimal level. So ask relevant questions. What are relevant questions? You ask questions that will answer spiritual compatibility. It is questions of where this person worships, their views about God, their views about prayer, their views about worship. Pay attention to what they are saying. And not only asking the questions, observe to answer questions of spiritual compatibility. Observe whether they pray. Observe what time they knock off at church. There are people who go and immediately the sermon begins, the guy is flat, he's asleep. Within a short time, he's Facebooking. From there, he disappears. It tells you this guy has no business with what is happening at church. So ask relevant questions within your dating period. Come to the issues of, intellectual compatibility. Come to the issues of professional compatibility. And there you are looking at professional development. How does this person intend to develop themselves professionally? For example, I will tell you that a guy who wants to continue getting papers up to PhD level is not compatible with a young lady who wants to end her education at diploma or certificate level. These two are not compatible, that I'll tell you. Why? A person who is going to become a professor or a doctor with a PhD, I want you to know that 90% of his life circulates around talking about publications and articles and research and books. A person who has decided to end his education. Now, I'm not saying a certificate is bad. I'm not saying a diploma is bad or a degree is bad. But a person who decides to end their education there tells you that this person is not interested in talking about books, is not interested in research and anything in that line. Now, that does not mean this person is bad. No, it just means that is not their area of interest. If the guy now who has a degree but has dreams of becoming a professor marries a young lady who feels that for her in the line of education, the diploma is okay, is the end, these two, 15 years down the line in life, they will find themselves seated in the same room and having nothing to discuss together. Having nothing to discuss. When the other person brings the stories about Amake Juju and how Amake Juju is arguing with the Amake John, the other person is saying, what manner of nonsense is this? The guy wants to talk about, he wants to talk about a controlled, randomized, he wants to talk about a double-blinded study. He wants to talk about a prospective study. He wants to talk about a survey. How does he talk about the survey that is troubling? He's struggling with home at work, how to design his study. How does he discuss that with his wife? It will seem as if he's doing masseting. So utilize dating to answer those questions. Number two, dating is for the sake of you growing your social skills in relation with the opposite sex. Dating is for you to develop your social skills in relation with the opposite sex. There are some of you who are here as men and you do not know how to talk to women. And you must date so that you learn how to talk to women. And for now, because you do not know how to talk to women, you must date so that you get dumped. So that when they dump you, you go and reflect on why you have been dumped. And as you reflect, you change yourself. Then when you change yourself, you are now ready to date and later on to marry. And if you will not date, and you have those principles, like the very first person I date is the person I'm going to marry. You are going to date this person and marry them on a fast track with no social skills on how to talk to a woman, and that marriage will end in tears. Because I want you to know as a man that how you talk to a fellow man is not how you talk to women. When you ask a man and say, what's the problem? And he says, I'm fine. He is fine. When you are talking to a woman and you say, what's the problem? She says, I am fine. What she means is, I am not fine. Continue asking. That's what she means. When a woman tells you, I don't want you to go this side, and you begin arguing, no, you see, I have to go. No, I have to go. No, I have to go. And in the end, she says, okay, no, it's fine. You can go. Don't say, she has authorized me. It is fine. I've gone. You will come back home and not eat. So how you talk to women is different. A birthday to you as a man means nothing. Many of you here, even asking you what your birthday is, you have to start debating in your head when your birthday is. Because a birthday to a man means absolutely nothing. Whether none of you will wish me a happy birthday, it means nothing. I am not disturbed. I will eat my food and I am okay. But you cannot afford to forget the birthday of a woman. It is called an unpardonable sin. And it is in dating where you commit those unpardonable sins, get dumped, learn your lessons. Then in the next relationship, you are going to put it as a reminder on your phone, 5 days, even 1 month before the birthday. You are reminded, you will go to Manda, you buy to my flowers, appear with chocolate, and she will go and post you. To her, she interprets that as love. So you date to gauge compatibility, but you also date so that you grow socially and become a better man and a better woman. I hope I've answered that question. Let me take maybe 2 more questions. Any other
Good
questions?
evening.
Good evening.
This is Simona from Senanga.
Ah, Mr. Simona, how are you? Now that's my young brother.
I'm okay.
You want to marry?
I wanted to find out something. At what stage at what stage do we tell our parents about the woman we are seeing?
That's a good question. At what stage? I think that again goes to culture, but beyond culture, it goes to how your parents have been socialized. There are parents who believe that, please, don't bring me jokes, because the person you bring here, you are going to marry. You are not going to appear with one person and later on come with another person. There are parents who view that way. And there is nothing wrong with our parents if that is how they view things. That is very much okay. That is how they have been socialized. Nothing wrong with that. But there are parents also who take keen interest in meeting who their children are dating so that they are part of that relationship. Again, nothing wrong with that. So the first thing I think is establish your parents. How are my parents socialized? Are they purely cultural and traditional, where they believe that if a girl arrives here, then we are married? Or do they also understand the concept of dating? If they understand the concept of dating, then you can introduce your girlfriend at the point of while she's still your girlfriend. Now, note this. It is not only about how your parents have been socialized. It is also about how your girlfriend has been socialized. Because there are girlfriends who have been raised in homes where they understand that going to meet the parents of your boyfriend does not mean marriage. So she'll be comfortable meeting your parents and she knows that it's just getting to know them. There are also girlfriends who have been raised in a context where they have been taught that going to meet the parents of your boyfriend means marriage. It means things are serious. Now, if that's how your girlfriend has been socialized and you take her to meet your parents, then after that you come and say, no, you see, me, I was just checking compatibility. So now we are done. That's why you hear people have been shot. Because to her, that sounds like a divorce. So find out, how has my girlfriend been socialized? If she has been socialized that meeting parents means marriage, never take her to meet your parents until you are sure that she's the one you want to marry. Because breaking up with her at that level will be devastating, and you would have destroyed the life of that young lady and how she views men and how she views the whole concept of love. So if that's how your girlfriend has been socialized, never introduce her to your family until you are sure you want to marry her. But if she has been socialized like me, the way I was raised, where you can take your girlfriend to meet your parents, then tell her, let's go and meet dad. You meet dad, and they'll get, oh, hi, how are you? My wife now developed a relationship with both my mom and my dad before we married. She met both mom and dad before we married. They started talking with mom even before I engaged her. Okay? So that would be my advice. Realize how your parents have been socialized and also how your girlfriend has been socialized. Okay, let me take the next question. So looking at our time, I'll take just, I think, 2 more questions, and then we'll end our session. Okay, so let me take 2 more questions. Any question?
Good evening, sir. I think there's one direct to your inbox.
Ah, okay. There's one to my inbox. Okay, let me check.
Yes.
But I'm
It was
happy
easy
to
for me
hear
to
also.
type it in.
Okay. I'm also happy to hear our sisters contributing. The ladies, please feel free to ask your questions. So I'm going to the inbox to look at.
Good evening.
It's a good evening, yes, please.
Good evening. This is Mainza speaking.
Mainza?
Yes.
Yes, please ask the question. Brother Mainza,
Sorry,
how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very fine. Yes, please.
Before I ask the question, how much time do I have?
Oh, to ask the question?
Yes.
Oh, you wanted to share a personal experience?
Yes, then I asked the question.
Okay. Can we make it in 40 seconds? Okay,
Just
under
a minute.
A minute. Yes, let's try to do that. Let's summarize it and then ask the question.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Woman for almost 1 year, 7 months now.
Sorry, I didn't hear the first part. It was cutting. Yes, go ahead.
I'm saying I'm in a relationship which is almost 1 year, 8 months.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, I was saying I'm in a relationship which is 1 year, 7 months now.
Okay.
Yes. Mostly we talk about your partner having flaws and all sorts of words. Well, in my experience, my partner has been good to me. I've been good to her, but I'm having the issue of insecurity. There are things I've noticed she has done, and now it's really drawing me back. So how may you help me deal with the issue of insecurity? I still want to keep the relationship, but it's just the insecurity within me.
Okay. That's a good question, and thank you for being open. Now, let me say something. Insecurity can be good.
Can I add a question?
Oh, okay. Yes, please. Add.
I just want to add the question to what he has asked. How do you do? By the way, this is Joshua.
Okay.
How do you deal with dating a pretty girl, especially as regards to insecurities, especially looking at your madam? Yeah.
Is this brother Joshua from Ridgeway?
Yes.
I like your question, brother Joshua. How do you deal with insecurities, especially when you are dating a very beautiful woman? And besides the example of my wife, I agree with you. She's beautiful. Thank you. Now, let me begin with Brother Mainza on the issue of insecurities. Now, insecurities are not very good for a relationship. It is best to have them handled. Now, I'm saying insecurities are not good. Why? Insecurities always breed mistrust. Insecurities always germinate mistrust, and they always germinate fear. Fear and mistrust are not good for a relationship. There is an African proverb that says, one that has been bitten by a serpent will be alarmed by a lizard. One who is bitten by a serpent will be alarmed by a lizard. And sometimes people have insecurities in a relationship, not because of what their partner has done or is doing, but because of what their exes did to them. Sometimes people have insecurities, not because of what a person is doing. Look, we store everything. We store everything that happens to us in our brain. And we have seen from medical studies that there is nothing that we are bound to remember as much as emotional experiences. On the list of all different types of information that your brain can remember, the one that your brain fails to forget is emotional experiences of pain, of heartbreak, and such things. That is why none of you here can forget an ex that dumped them or cheated on them. We can't ask you to say, so who was your ex? Then you start saying, who was that one? Uja, Dan. What's his name again? What's her name? Kajaka. Oh, Karuthi. No, Kanaomi. You remember them clearly by name, where they stayed and everything, because emotional pain, it creates very strong pathways within your brain that you cannot forget that. It creates these synapses that are very strong, and you'll not forget that. Now, what am I saying? Sometimes when you're experiencing insecurities in your relationship, ask yourself, are these insecurities coming because of what my partner is doing, or they are coming because my partner is reminding me of what happened? It is possible to mistake what your partner is doing for what happened to you in the past by somebody else and think that that is repeating. So if you are bitten by a snake, when you see a lizard, you think it is a snake. The danger with that is this. The person who was bitten by a snake and is alarmed by a lizard, he may overreact to the lizard and run and injure himself. Later on, he will realize that he has injured himself running away from a lizard that is harmless. What am I saying? It is possible for you to overreact to issues that your girlfriend does or your boyfriend does, not knowing that at a subconscious level, you are overreacting not because of what they did, but because you are being reminded of what your ex did or what the ex to your friend did. So I'm saying, number one, sit and analyze to know whether the insecurities are purely coming because of her or what you have gone through in the past. Then secondly, if there are insecurities, address them with your partner. Tell your partner, I'm feeling like I have fear. I feel like you can do this. And what makes me feel this way is because this way. Most often you're going to realize that when you sit and discuss insecurities, they will go. And I should caution men at this point. For men, I want you to know that every woman is insecure. Men, not that. Every woman is insecure. Every woman is insecure about how she looks, irrespective of whether she is beautiful or not beautiful. Irrespective, even the most beautiful of women, they are insecure about their looks. They need to constantly be reminded that they are beautiful. That is why you should constantly tell your woman, you are beautiful, you are beautiful, you are beautiful. You need to constantly reassure her that you are not seeing any other person beautiful except for her. I want you to know that whether even education cannot beat insecurities out of a woman. My uncle tells me of his professor at work who was slapped by the wife. And the wife is also a fellow professor. Professor and professor, there's a professional dinner for work that happens. While people are busy eating, they just hear, "Pah!" When they look, the professor HOD has been slapped by his wife, who is also a professor. Spoon that side, rice out of the mouth. People say that, what is happening? Why? The wife said she has observed that there's a way he has been looking at the secretary. And she says she has counted and has seen that 3 times he has been looking at the secretary. The man was shocked. I've been looking at the secretary. That's a professor and a professor. So for men, assure your women. I've said the best way to deal with insecurities is sit and discuss. Assurance will help. And sometimes you're going to see that we have nothing to fear. So sit and discuss. Brother Mainza, that's what I can advise actually on that. But if your insecurities are justified because maybe your woman is entertaining other men, dump her and disappear faster than electricity. If your insecurities are justified because your woman is having secret conversations with other men, or your man is having secret conversations with other women, your insecurities are justified. At that point, disappear faster than electricity. Because such tendencies don't change, they become worse. Brother Joshua, how do you deal with the insecurities if you are married to a beautiful woman? Love her right. A woman who is beautiful receives a lot of attention from other men. On a daily basis, she'll be stopped by not less than 2 men who are driving bigger and nice cars than you, who are more educated than you, who might be looking better than you on a daily basis. The only way you can keep a beautiful woman is to demonstrate that when it comes to the way of appreciating her, nobody beats you. Women, unlike men, are loyal. If a woman is loved right, she will be loyal to you. Remember her birthdays, not only her birthdays. Surprise her with little things. Trust me, it does not take a master's degree to make a wife happy. It doesn't. And I always get shocked why majority of the brothers are not romantic, especially those of you in church. You are a problem. Oh, sorry. Not anyone in particular. I'm saying you guys in church are a problem. Brothers, do a little survey and know the restaurants that are there in Lusaka. Nice restaurants. These places that you fear are not expensive. A meal at Cloud9 there will cost you on average 250 kwacha. A meal at Steak and Boo will cost you 150 kwacha. Don't fear how it looks. A meal at Delilah here in Kablonga will cost you around 130 kwacha. And these are beautiful, respectable places that create memories. Women thrive on memories. She needs some good memories she can remember about you, so that when you are not around, she calls you and says, I miss you. When she says, I miss you, it is not you, the anatomical human being she's missing. She's missing the memories you create when you are with her. So brothers, get to know the restaurants. It's not a sin. Get to know some resorts where there's some good green grass. Get to know places. There's Bonanza here in Lusaka. Know such places. You don't have to go and buy anything. Take her there, watch animals, buy water, 5 kwacha, then buy ice cream, eat ice cream, 5 kwacha, return home. She would have taken enough selfies to go and post, and she's happy. It is not hard to please a woman. Listen to her. No matter how the things she's saying don't make sense. They don't make sense to you, but they make sense to her. So listen, she would want you to watch a film. And the film she's suggesting, I'm going to tell you, films that women watch don't make sense to a man. They don't. People are crying from the beginning to the end. But trust me, that stuff of crying from the beginning to the end makes sense to her. Why? She's an emotional being. She is an emotional being. And as they are crying in the film, then they are holding each other. It makes sense you'll be there the whole time watching those films for Filipinos, which don't make sense from the beginning to the end. Then you want to say, no, every idol thing will be brought into. I don't want to discuss about that because some of you will begin quoting scriptures. But you see, that stuff makes sense. Sit there and watch that stuff that doesn't make sense with her. In the end, she says, you know, me, my boyfriend is very loving. We sit together. He has time for me. I hope I'm communicating these tips, brothers. Brothers, in ShopRite, it is not only chicken they sell. ShopRite before the queues has where they sell cards. Know about that. In Lusaka along Cairo Road, where there is the farmers building, there is a gift shop there. Kulima Tower, the other side, there is a gift shop there. Know these places. I can see somebody here saying Tiffany's. Yes, there is Tiffany's in Kafiwe. There's Kafiwe River Cliff, the other side. There is what used to be called Rimo, which is now called Cheetah. These are beautiful places where you can go. In a 500 kwacha, you can get on a bus, drop by Cheetah Lodge, go down there, pay for a speedboat. It is 50 kwacha to go on water, drifting around, and you come back. Now, let me tell you why I'm not insecure about my wife. I will tell you that, brothers, it takes a lot for you to take my wife away from me. That I can guarantee. For the simple reason, not about accomplishment, nothing. I think that's not what my wife loves me. But I'll tell you that I'm that guy who takes my wife for picnics. I am that guy who takes my wife for meals. I am that guy who takes my wife for a movie, for some good music, for a good concert. I am that guy. I am that guy who will buy some little surprise, some chocolate in a box, some flowers, and bring for her. I am that guy. I am that guy who will entertain her. That is what I do. And I know very few men do this. So the bar is quite high. If you are dating a beautiful woman, simply raise the bar high by the love you are showering her with. All her eyes will be on you. Brother Josh, are you there?
I am here.
Is the gospel clear?
Very clear.
Hallelujah.
Thank you. At least I've achieved most of them.
Powerful. Then you are set. I know you are a very creative mind, Brother Joshua. So I know you will not disappoint me. Just deliver.
Right.
You have nothing. Just deliver. You have nothing. Brothers and sisters, I always tell people, don't go around checking in the phone. You ask my wife. From we have dated and we are married now, we have known each other, I think, for 6 years now. Ask my wife, there is not one day I went in her phone checking messages and on the inbox, WhatsApp. Who is this one? Who is calling you? Who are you talking to? Your phone was engaged. No, I eliminate my competition by delivery and raising the bar high. Eliminate the competition. Add value to your woman. Add value. I've told you the good, nice things, but it's not only about that. Add value also. Upgrade your woman by introducing her to programs, workshops, conferences, and things like that, where your wife can clearly see that where you found her is no longer where she is. This is one thing that my wife tells me. She says, baby, you see, this is even how I think, how I view things, the network where I am now. Upgrade your woman. Realize that by upgrading your woman, you are upgrading yourself. By upgrading your woman, you are securing an inheritance for your children. Our time is up. Over to the moderator.
Mr. Daniel, before you hand over.
Okay. Yes, please.
Yes,
Who
this
is
is
asking?
Mainza again.
Oh, Brother Mainza. Yes,
Mainza.
please.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead, please.
I need to ask two things. The first is when can I have a personal meeting with you, if it's possible?
Okay, a personal meeting with me, yes, it is possible, and I would love for us to meet.
Yes.
So what I'll do is this.
Then,
take this
okay.
line, 0979 96
yes
16
96
47. I saw Brother Arnold in here. Brother Arnold, are you in this meeting? If you are still in, just tell me you are in. Mr. Arnold, are you in this meeting?
Yes, I'm in.
Okay. Please create an appointment for Mr. Mainza for us to meet next week.
All right. Done.
Create an appointment for us to meet next week.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, yes, my last question.
Yes, please.
Hello, Mr.
Yes,
Ban,
yes,
my
yes.
last question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, during our time when dating before marriage, is it necessary to address the issue of finances, or we have to wait until we are married, then we sit and talk about it? And the relationship needs a financial account, should I say?
That's a very good question, and it's also loaded actually in that direction. Talking about finances, here is my advice to you. Discuss finances and be clear about finances before marriage. The leading cause of divorce is not sex. It is not infidelity. All studies that have been done in that unanimously agree. The leading cause of divorce is not infidelity. It is not all these things in there. The leading cause of divorce is finances. People fight in marriages more about money than anything else. Do not marry a person whom you have not agreed. Companies have what they call a financial policy. A company would have a financial policy. And I'll use that word and say, do not marry a person whom you are not agreed on and have the financial policy together. It goes to both men and to women because money breaks marriages. You see, I know a young man who married a young lady, and this young lady told this young man to say, listen, a wedding is yours. You are the man who is marrying. You cover all expenses. Me, I'll contribute nothing. Unless I really see that you are struggling, then I'll contribute something. When we get married, to do everything in the home and bring money and everything in that line, it is your problem. For me, so in other words, for her, and this is the funny thing now, most young ladies believe my money is my money, your money is our money. That's what breaks relationships. Don't walk around with the primitive beliefs. That thing of where our fathers were the only ones bringing finance to a home, our mothers were bringing nothing, is primitive. If you wanted to succeed in a home, then as a young lady, quit and be a housewife. But you cannot be going to work and get money, and you are not the one cooking for your husband, you are not the one washing, there is a maid doing everything. Then when you appear at month end, you want to chew your money alone, and the man's money must be chewed by everybody, including yourself and your family. That is witchcraft and wickedness. The economy in which we are now cannot run on one salary unless that salary is really good. Or maybe the man is an entrepreneur and the money that comes in is huge. But now you find your husband is working What he gets cannot support the home. So what I'm telling you, and young men, be wise. Don't commit yourself to a young lady who does not want you and her to share finances. It is one of the 1,000 ways to die. Don't commit yourself to a young lady who wants to keep her money. Let her be married to her money. I remember one young man was being taught by a young lady to say, prove yourself a man. Prove yourself a man. Prove yourself that you can take care of me. My money is my money. That's witchcraft. So if you are not agreed on money, don't. As you go in a marriage, it should be known how much the husband gets, how much the wife gets. And it should be known that when we get married, are we bringing our manners together or it is each one for himself? But in a marriage, the two become one. Your finances become your finances for the two of you. Everyone must know how much is there. And to make this practical, this is not theories. Let me show you something. This is a checkbook. This is a checkbook. I'll tell you that there are two signatories to this checkbook. It is me and my wife. There is no withdrawal that I can make without my wife approving it. This is a checkbook. And it's only that yesterday I signed the last check in it, so all the checks are finished here. I would have shown you the signature of my wife on the checks here. There is no check that I sign that my wife does not sign. If I'm going to withdraw at the bank, it is because my wife has authorized it. Our finances are our finances together. And we discussed this before we got married. We discussed how we would support our parents, how much we would be sending them every month. We discussed this. We discussed how we would support our siblings, how much we'll be sending them. We discussed the projects we would do and how much we would take to the project. So at any given point, money is not separating us. So I hope I've answered the question on money. Have I? My brother, the one who asked, have I answered?
Yeah, you have answered, but I think we'll talk
joint
more
account.
about it when we meet in person.
Or a joint account for those who are dating. So who are dating, discuss your finances, know your finances. Don't have a joint account when you are dating, you are not married. Because if you are going to break up, remember dating ends, relationships end. If you are going to break up, then what happens? It will be very funny for the two of you to go to the bank to withdraw money so that you share because you have broken up. It is the same thing. Don't make capital investments together when you are dating. Don't go and dig a fish pond at your girlfriend's parents' farm. You dig a fish pond and you are dating and you are raising fish. Then you break up. You cannot arrive there and you are not talking to everyone that I'm just here to harvest my fish. So don't make capital investments while you are dating. Wait for them, plan together what you will do when you get married. But while you are dating, assist each other financially if you can. Assist each other. It is very important. Okay. Madam Moderator, over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Kalani. We've really enjoyed the discussion. We really appreciate for your time. It's a privilege for us. Yeah, so we usually have question and answer session on Mondays. So we have a lot of questions, just that we've run out of time. Yes, we've run out of time. We have a lot of questions that we get to tackle on Mondays. So we're asking if you could help on Monday, if you could find time for us.
Okay. Mr. Arnold.
Hello?
Okay, I just want to confirm with my manager because in here. Mr. Arnold, are you available around?
Yes, I'm still around. Yes, I'm still around.
Is Monday possible for us to meet? Are you able to create that time?
Monday won't be possible. We are kind of tied up Monday.
Okay. So unfortunately, I would have loved to be with you, but our manager determines the schedule, and I think I know what I'm saying, so there should be a meeting happening around Monday around the same time. However, I will request that if you can share them with me, that would be great. And I'll request Mr. Arnold to create a time when we can have a question and answer session. Then he will share with you gift. Then we can meet together with everybody for us to have that discussion. Otherwise, I'm really humbled by your invitation and the time to discuss with your team. I'm really, really humbled. Can't hear gift.
Okay, I don't know what has happened to Sister Gift Mbewe. I also can't hear. Gift, kindly unmute your speaker. Okay, thank you.
I still can't hear gift.
Hello?
Yes, now I think I can.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I think we will buy into your time. We'll forward the questions to you and wait for the day that you'll be free so that you can help us with them. Otherwise, we really appreciate your time. We are grateful. You can kindly help us with a closing prayer.
Okay, let's pray, friends. Let's pray. Ultimately, God should guide you. So our eyes are closed and pray. Our Father in heaven, Lord, we thank you for this evening we have shared together here with these, my brothers and sisters. Lord, I do not have any superior wisdom. And of what I have shared here, some things might right, some things might not be right. I'm equally a novice in the issue of love because love is bigger than me. You are love. You alone can show us clearly how we should love and who we should love and how we should demonstrate this. It is required on us to exert efforts in developing these attributes of showing your love to our girlfriends, to our boyfriends, to our wives, and to our husbands. What I pray for, Lord, is that your spirit will hover over everyone present in this meeting to guide them. Because, Lord, we know very well that through your inspired writings, it is clear that many young men and women mark the road of doom in the day that they decide to yoke themselves wrong. We therefore want to be in happy homes. That will be a reflection of you and who you are, little heavens here on earth. We therefore want to pray that you are going to guide the people that are in this group, in this process of establishing who they should marry. So that, Lord, in the end, none will suffer heartache and shed tears because of pain of the choices they have made. Guide your children and bless them. It is our prayer in your name, Jesus, we pray. Amen.
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 So, just an announcement. Next week, we are meeting on Saturday evening. We are going to have
Okay, guys, thank you so much. I'm
study.
unable to get anything.
Okay, I guess it's a good night. So have a good night. God bless.
Good evening and have a happy Sabbath, everyone.
Good evening. When did you say is the next meeting? When is the next meeting?
Saturday evening.
What time?
At the same time, 19:30.
All right, thank you.
Yes, then to those who would want to accompany the team, which will be visiting Pastor Mwansa tomorrow, feel free to inbox the admin team or just post in the main group.
Oh, not even the group. Oh, I was just sent this link. I don't even know the group you're talking about anyway.
Oh, okay. So we have the WhatsApp group. Let me see if I can share the link now to the WhatsApp group. Oops, okay. Let me try to do so now. Okay.
Do you mind adding us who are not in the same WhatsApp?
Ma? I'm trying to...
Maybe you just give you the lines and then you add us.
Okay, maybe you get my line so that you inbox me. It will be easier because for now I have to transfer the link to my laptop, then share because I'm using my laptop for this meeting. So maybe let me share my line.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Just say hi and tell me like the details, then I'll be able to add you to the WhatsApp group.
Your line. Your line is
0974.
Okay.
61. 75. 50.
Okay. Sister
Thank
who?
you. Gift Nyambe. We have two gifts in the group. The other one is Mbewe. The one who was presenting was Mbewe.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So just say hi and I'll be able to add you to the group.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Prince, good evening. Prince, the radical contractor, good evening.
Good evening. Hi, how are you?
Could you
I'm
repeat
okay.
your number?
Ma?
Could you please repeat your number?
0974 61 75
Okay.
50.
Okay.
Yes. Gift and Prince.
Okay. Thank you. I'm here. I'm back.
Yes, we need to discuss something after everyone leaves.
Okay.
About our
But is Prince here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he's here. But no, he's not in Lusaka actually. I don't know if Chimuka hasn't joined this meeting today, right?
I don't think so.
Okay. Maybe if I can ask Martin to rejoin so that we conclude just here.
Okay.
Thank you for the link.
Okay, thank you so much. Oh, someone has actually shared the link, so feel free to just join. So let me just ask Mr. Chimba to join.
Let them capture the link before they exit the group, like they copy, and those who have their numbers, they can copy or share in those other groups. Let me also send the other link for the other group because this one will be full soon.
Okay, so I've managed to talk to Martin. He will be rejoining anytime soon.
Okay.
Nanga maponko.
Hey, sorry, even
Martin, is it in already?
I'm trying to call someone.
Giving, gifting. Yeah.
Ma?
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. Gifting Bewe, how are you?
You should be differentiating these names, huh?
Gifting Bewe now. This is for Gifting Bewe now. How are you? Mwanganyumbu. How are you? And Naomi Lumbu. Mazina ya kushipata. Bana ya kushipata. Oh, we know we.
That name is not from Chad.
Oh, yeah, this should be something to do with these tribes that are a bit strict and the like.
Which ones are strict?
These ones are Benendania, Bumbu. This should be Mambwe, Chanshanu, Kwenda Okusai, Fupi na Wabembe.
When Kutari, kwa mwaenda huko.
Okay, I think Martin is here. Martin.
Okay.
Now we're trying to find how we are going to the pastor's house. And what time do we start off and all those details?
Oh yeah, good evening everyone. I was talking to Gift Mbewe. I think meeting town will be the best place to meet from. Yeah. Are you Lusaka Gift?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, I'm in Lusaka.
Yeah, I think we can meet during lunchtime, maybe it's 12:13. So
12:13. So there's
so
no
like
one who
14
is
hours.
driving among the team here to give us a lift.
So, Mukamba Bwanji.
I think brother
Driving
Radrick
kenda kula
was on
Pastor George
tractor.
Mwansa. Bankala kutsuka sama.
Yes, come in.
Yalo ni kutari kujanizi wako.
And I'm near her place.
Brother Radrick
Kasama kuja
can
kusaidi kuchanshani kuja kwenye mapastors. Kulas kupitira pale bagaini. Karibu.
What buses do we use when going there?
Mwatukuliko na mabasi ezikuja. Sikuja. Kama VIP kuja. Ukienda na motoka yako. Kama mabasi ya mapera chepa chiteni.
Vehicles in here, we can put fuel in their cars.
Northwestern Zambia. Who are going in from these people that are here?
Sorry, excuse me.
I've seen a few people have confirmed, like Simpiro wants to go. The other lady, I've forgotten her name. I just have to check again. Yes. Yeah, so those are the only two people from the group who have confirmed.
So in short, there are only two people ready to go.
No, like from the main group. But there's me, Martin, and
Prince. Excuse me. I need a favor. Hello, admin.
Yes.
I need a favor. Does any of you have the record for the just ended session we had? The recorded session.
Yes, I was recording, but I don't know where it has saved. I'll check.
Right, I'll inbox you on WhatsApp so that you just send it to my inbox. I need the record.
Okay, all right. No, we'll share in the group.
Right, have a happy Sabbath.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a good evening and happy Sabbath to you too.
Thank you.
Gift, how far with the cake? Hello?
I can't see Gift.
Gift Nyambe is asking Gift Mbewe.
Yes.
I can't see Mbewe. She's not here.
Okay, let me.
But she
give
said the cake will be baked today and it will be ready tomorrow.
Okay, okay. I managed to talk to the lady with the portrait. She's yeah. I'll get it tomorrow in the morning.
Okay. So Gift, where are you?
I'm at Apex, near Apex.
Near Apex. That's the direction we are coming.
I think so.
But Gift, how did you come near Apex? What happened?
What do you mean?
Hello.
Gift, welcome back.
Thank you.
I came in Lusaka yesterday. So yes, I'm in Lusaka and I'm staying here at the moment.
So simunakamba timabwera mu Lusaka. Imwe mwanyamuka ku Western mabwera ku Lusaka isema tipaka kuwaya. Mshepu. Gift Mbewe, we were asking how far with the cake. Forget about me, Nyambe.
All right. I'm just from talking to. There's Nakamba now. I'm there of baking a cake. So now he was like, no, let me reach home. I talked to my wife and all that. So he forgot when he reached home. So but I'm just from talking to the wife. So she said the cake can be ready around 14. Hello.
Mbo, 14.
Okay, so if it can be ready around 14, it's still fine also.
Gift, what time are we supposed to go? Takamba chat from afternoon.
Yes, we are yet to decide. Yeah, it has to decide and just inform them.
Okay.
I feel 15 hours is the idea. 15 to going down, yeah.
Sister Simumba or Sister Simumba has a car.
Where's Sister Simumba?
I don't know if it's a sister. Your mother. You're making this for me. Okay, I'll give you a call. But just unmute and tell us the details. Simumba. Ma? Ma?
Is Sister Simumba in here?
Yes. I've just read her message on the chat box. Let her just unmute and tell us the details.
Okay.
Simumba.
Simumba wakale kupwela but Gift Mbewe, how come kumve katubana ku background? What is happening?
Niku nakumveka bana?
I think in the Gift Nyambe.
My nephew is crying. I'm sorry.
Gift.
Huh?
Gift sampaka kuwaya.
I'm here. Sorry, it's my nephew making noise. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Noise is the problem. Basi Simumba baza kuuzani ngati motoka izanga lako. Let's just be prepared to find a car because kuenda kuja my pastor's compound, it's very difficult to go by bus. We definitely need to have a vehicle, like a private transport that we need to use to get there. Because even ngati makambati muenda na bus, koselukila basi napoenda pa nyumba ni padali because it's quite off the reach of buses. So we definitely need to organize transport.
Okay, Baradiko.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, yeah. So I was trying to, since we're having challenges with transport, talk to Pumza if he can manage kuenda nice, but he asked me to tell him the exact time. So, but he seems interested. So maybe if I tell him the time, he might help us.
Yeah, I think Pumza is also another option. So we'll have 2 vehicles.
Okay. So tenda nao basimu ba Sister Simumba.
Yes, I'll call her. She has offered a car, so I'll give her a call. She's here, maybe. Basimumba. Evening.
Hello.
Evening. Basimumba, evening. You can unmute. Basimumba.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. We can hear you, sir.
How are you?
We are fine, thank you.
Basimumba, are you there?
I think he has left. I'll give him a call and provide feedback to everyone.
All right, I think that would be better.
Okay, so next
so I should tell the lady. Should I tell the lady to continue with the picking?
Yes, yes. I managed to talk to the lady with the portrait.
The other thing is that she wants the details. Chilemba singles. Singapore singles. SGS singles.
I'm not so sure. What should we write on the?
Tizabauza kusend tiganize come up na ma messages yo embap. You can even put STA singles down the way it was in the group.
Like STA singles, that's all. Or from or what?
You can maybe say thank you. Thank you from SDA singles Zambia. Tap mafakapo na group kunya. Latimufuna mafakapo na kastel. Na ga icon pamene paso. Ga icon secha.
Okay, I think yeah, thank you so much for that. Then the other thing, okay, some names I read. Look to read. Yeah, has just joined.
Just a moment, you guys. This meeting is still being live streamed on YouTube. So once if you come back, then the YouTube.
Can you cut?
The only way we can cut is to end the meeting.
Oh, okay. What do we do now?
Yeah, so
we end the meeting, my leader. I think we've discussed everything.
Sorry, let's not talk about meeting. Hello? Hello?
we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I was asking what are the details? Let them bakeki.
Ala gift mbele muzavuta mungu choka hapo mwaenda mapwela aza kutumia phone gift nyame.
Okay.
Gift nyambe, you should call gift Timbo and give her the details of the rest of the stuff. Unless there's other things we are discussing, please advise.
Yeah. Advance.
Kuti wa gift nyambe bacheya batufake kuwaya bebe baenda. Pera 10 meeting ya sira.
I'm unable to get anything.
It's because you have not joined via what do you call that? Mike Shanshan. So you need to join via Mike.
And Tomurungu, this meeting is live on YouTube. So I think we've discussed everything. Let's meet tomorrow.
All right, thank you much.
All right, brother Radical. See you tomorrow.